Jai Jinendra to everyone. We have a speaker as Mr. Rajesh Sheth for today. It is my privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today. We are truly honored to welcome Mr. Rajesh Sheth as a distinguished speaker. After retiring from his business in 2011, Rajesh Sheth has devoted himself entirely to Swadhyay and in-depth research of Jain principles. For the past 10 years, he has been a core committee member and faculty member of the Pamagam Honors Program. He has successfully guided 5 batches and continues to lead 2 more, including 3 conducted in English. At JEEV, he has played a pivotal role in curriculum development, content articulation, and article review, providing valuable insights and guidance. His contributions to extend to identifying key resources, and strengthening the JEEV team. Academically, he holds a BCom honors degree from Kolkata University and has earned the title of Shastri from Mukt Vidyapeeth under the esteemed Pandit Todelmal Smarak Trust, Jaipur. We are grateful to have him with us today and eagerly look forward to his insight. Over to you, at the class. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. So our first chapter is Namokar Mahamantra. Okay. I'm again saying sorry for the delay in the start of this session. But anyways, what has happened has happened. So this Namokar Mantra is a prayer. But generally speaking, when we say prayer, we do prayer to ask something. We have some desire that needs to be fulfilled, and so we are doing prayer. That happens with most of the people. But in Jainism, we pray without any demand. There is no desire to fulfill anything in lieu of this prayer. Okay. So what is this prayer about? And it is about whom? So we begin with the prayer first. Namo Arhantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airyanam, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loye Savva Sahunam. It means salutation. Namokar means salutation. Salutations to all the arhants of the universe. Priyanka, you can share the screen. Yeah. So, Namo Arhantanam. So, Namo Arhantanam means salutations to all the arhants of the universe. Then Namo Siddhanam means salutation to all the siddhas of the universe. Then Namo Uvajjayanam means salutation to all the acharyas of the universe. And then Upadhyay and sadhus. Okay. So in the last term, Namo Loye. Loye means lok mein. Means we are saluting not only the arhants, siddh, acharyas, upadhyay, sadhus in the present, but throughout the universe, wherever arhant, siddh, acharya, upadhyay exist, we are saluting all of them. Okay. So this is called Anta Deepak in Hindi. So it serves as a lamp placed at the end. Okay. It illuminates all the terms described previously. So Namo Loye Savasanam is in the last line, but it also means Namo Loye Aryantanam, Namo Loye Siddhanam, and that justifies the meaning also in the English that we just did. Now the next slide. Meaning of the word Namokar Mantra. No, before that. Second slide. Yeah. Meaning of the word Namokar Mantra. Namokar stands for salutation or obeisance. So salutations means namaskar, namostu. And then we have Maha. Maha means great. And mantra means prayer or hymn, stavan, stuti. Okay. So this Namokar Mahamantra offered salutation to the 5 supreme beings, Panch Parameshti. Okay, 5 supreme beings. Now the question is why they are considered supreme. Now who are these 5 Panch Parameshti? They are Arhant, Siddha, Acharya, Upadhyay and Sadhu. Now the question comes why they are considered supreme, and the next question is why do we offer salutations to them? So the first answer, why they are considered supreme. They are considered supreme because they have either attained liberation or are on the path of liberation, achieving or are on the path to achieving it by conquering their inner flaws. Okay, so either they have achieved liberation, attained liberation, or are on the path to achieving it by conquering their inner flaws. Now the second part, why do we offer salutations to them? They have fearlessly transcended all worldly desires and illuminated the path of liberation for all. Now, what is this path of liberation? This path of liberation is right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. Okay. Can you mute all others? I'm getting some disturbance. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So, what is the path of liberation? Right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct is the path of liberation. We also aspire to cultivate those same qualities within ourselves and follow their path. So, salutation is not merely an act of reverence, but also a profound expression of gratitude. The moment we feel grateful, our focus shifts from what is lacking to what is abundant, fostering contentment and joy. Beyond gratitude, salutations also nurture ethical conduct. So both these words, ethical conduct and gratitude, have a wide study material throughout the world with all the philosophers. Everyone has expressed their own opinion about gratitude and this ethical conduct or moral conduct. Ethical behavior is fundamental to spiritual growth, arguably even more crucial than knowledge or intellect. History has shown that intelligence without ethics leads to destruction. Figures like Hitler and Ravan were highly knowledgeable, yet their lack of moral integrity led to their downfall. So it is very important that we have to be ethical in our conduct. Okay. Thus, by saluting the supreme beings, we not only express reverence and gratitude, but also reaffirm our commitment to embodying the highest ethical standards in our daily lives. Okay. Keeping this in mind, one should approach the recitation of Namokar Mantra with a deep awareness of 3 things. First, the virtues of those we revere. Okay, so we have to understand who is Aryant, who is Siddha, who is Acharya, Upadhyay and Sadhu. Then the second point is a sense of gratitude. And the third point is a commitment to high ethical behavior. Okay. Together these elements build harmonious relationship, inner peace and a purposeful life, leading to true happiness and ultimately liberation. So all this thing we are saying by explaining the word salutation. So salutation only doesn't mean paying respect to the Panch Parmeshtis or the supreme beings. It also expresses gratitude and also our commitment to a ethical behavior. Okay. We want to, I will be adding something more on the ethical behavior at the end of the chapter if the time is permitting. Otherwise, we move on to the next slide. In the next slide, we can see the understanding the meaning of Namokar Mantra, and the first that we saluted is Namo Aryantanam. Can you change the slides? Next, yeah, this one. Namo Aryantanam. So Namo Aryantanam means salutations to all the Arihants of the universe. Ari is equal to enemies and Hant means destroyer. Okay. So Aryant are souls who have destroyed the enemies of delusions, attachment, aversions, and all kinds of passions. Okay. Because all these things are hindering our spiritual peace, spiritual happiness. Okay. And these Aryants have conquered all these. So Aryant are souls who are passionless, vitragi, omniscient, sarvagna, and their preaching is for the welfare of all souls, hitobdeshi. These three qualities makes them Aryant. Vitragi, passionless, sarvagna, omniscient, and hitobdeshi, preaching for the welfare of all the souls. Okay. So this Aryant is free from 4 obscuring karmas, ghati karmas, and they have manifested 4 infinites: infinite knowledge, infinite perception, infinite bliss, and infinite energy. So when they conquered knowledge obscuring karma, they manifested infinite knowledge. When they conquered perception obscuring karma, they manifested infinite perception. When they conquered deluding karma, they manifested infinite bliss or happiness. And when they conquered obstructing karma, they manifested infinite energy or virya. So this is all about Arihant Parmesti. We move on to the next slide. It is about Namo Siddhanam. Salutations to all the Siddhas of the universe. Who are Siddhas? They are liberated souls and have destroyed all karmas. Okay. All karmas means all the 8 karmas. Okay. And they have manifested the purest form of the soul possessed of 8 attributes. Okay. So what are these 8 attributes? So four already we just saw when we were explaining Arihant, and the other 4 are while they conquered Vedniya producing karma, they manifested undisturbedness, avyabhadatva. When they conquered lifespan determining karma, they manifested accommodativeness, avgahanatva. When they conquered physic forming karma, they manifested minuteness, shukshamatva. And when they conquered status determining karma, gotra karma, then they manifested constancy of individuality, aguru lagutva. So they have conquered all the 8 karmas and they have manifested all the 8 attributes. Okay. They have become free from the cycles of birth and death. Okay. Siddhas never take birth, nor they have death. After leaving their supernatural param audaric body, they have reached the summit of the universe by virtue of their nature of upward motion, urdhva gamanatva. They have attained the super attainable, krutkritya. They have become krutkritya. They have attained what has to be attained. Hence, continue to dwell in such a perfect blissful state infinitely. Now the question is that Aryant have conquered 4 karmas and Siddhas have conquered all the karmas, all the 8 karmas. So why we are saluting the Arihant first and then the Siddhas. So the logic is that Siddhas lack physical body, speech and karmas. They don't have a body, they don't have a speech, and they don't have any types of karmas. Aryans are embodied gods who impart divine wisdom through their sermons, Divya Dhvani, called Divya Dhvani, or the divine sound. They illuminate the path to liberation, revealing the true nature of soul. Therefore, Arihant take the lead in guiding ordinary soul like us towards their ultimate welfare and are the first to be revered in the Namokar Mantra. Okay, our purpose is being solved through Arihant, so we are praying Arihant in the first place. Now moving on to the next slide. Namo Ahiryanam. Salutations to all the acharyas of the universe. Acharyas lead the congregation. They have administrative qualities, so they lead the congregation. They are the leader. They are responsible for preserving and propagating the noble path. Okay. Their primary objective is to remain engrossed in the soul. However, occasionally, due to emergence of mild passions and compassionate feelings towards other souls, what they do? They do three things. They preaches religion to those who have the quest for the right knowledge. Second, they grant asceticism, diksha, to deserving souls who want to pursue monkhood. And the third point, they administers punishment, praischit, to those who admit their faults to him and thus purify their souls. Okay. So Acharya are the leaders of this congregation and they are overall responsible for the conduct of the activities of the whole congregations. In the time of the day the Ravan got killed, the next day there were 56,000 monks who came there. Just imagine one Acharya and under them 56,000 disciples who were also monks. So such is the administrative power of Acharya that they are able to manage this whole congregation. At the same time, they are always remaining engrossed in their soul. Okay. So such is our Acharyas. Now moving on to the next slide. Namo Ujja Uvajjanam. Salutations to all the Upadhyayas of the universe. So they have great knowledge of Jain scriptures. They are very well versed about the scriptures that has been already been written, and by virtue of this excellence serve as preceptors or teachers or educators of scriptures to others in the congregation. Okay, so their primary responsibility is to get engrossed in themselves, and when there is a mild passion coming up, they indulge in such activities of teaching, preaching to other monks in the congregation. The next in the sequence, the last one is Namo Loye Savvasahunam. Savvasahunam. Salutations to all the sadhus of the universe. Sadhus are ascetics monks who focus on meditation and realization of their own soul. Okay. So apart from Acharya and Upadhyay, all other are considered as ordinary sadhu. Okay. And their primary duty is meditation of the self and realization of their own soul. So even when Acharya and Upadhyay, they also want to focus on their self exclusively, they also leave those posts of Acharya and Upadhyay and become an ordinary sadhu. And in this position, they are able to focus on their meditation and realization of their own soul. So such are the sadhus. This is all about the 5 supreme beings. The next slide, you can see all the 5 supreme beings at a glance. And in fact, this is our family tree. We have family tree in our worldly life also. Okay, your father and then grandfather and brothers and whatnot. This is our family tree, real family tree. As a soul, this is our family tree. The arahants, they are responsible for the preachings that we have got. Okay. Then siddhas, they are the liberated soul. They have shown us the path of liberation and they have done it. Okay. And when we also treat on that path and achieve liberation, they will be there to welcome us. Okay. Aryant, we get motivation from Aryant. Then Acharyas, Upadhyayas and Sadhus, they are all our benefactors and they take care of us. Whatever problems we faced, we always go to the scriptures, and the scriptures are written by Acharyas, Upadhyayas and Sadhus. Okay. So in a way, they are our support system and they are our family, right? So feel proud to be part of that family. Now, the next slide. What are the other specialities of this Namokar mantra? Okay, just a minute. Yeah. So the first point, most revered and basic form of worship amongst Jains of all sects. Okay. Second, it is written in the Prakrit language. So the language at that time it was used when this was written was the Prakrit language. Subsequently, it changed to Sanskrit. And then over a period of time, the language keeps on changing. We never imagined that something will be created in English like this. And now we are trying to do everything in English, translating into English. We already have in Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, the many other languages. So this was Namokar mantra was written in the Prakrit language. Third one, it is also referred to as Mool mantra. Why? Because it is the basis of all the other mantras. All other mantras are derived from it. Okay. So that's why it is also referred as Mool mantra. So we have initially we discussed Mahamantra. Now this is Mool mantra. And the next is number 4, Anadi Nidan mantra. Anadi Nidan means eternal. So why it is called an eternal mantra? It is called Anadi Nidan mantra, signifying its eternal nature. The 5 supreme beings to whom we offer salutations in this mantra have existed since time immemorial. There is no beginning, okay? And we will continue to exist and will continue to exist into eternity, okay? All these 5 supreme beings. The practice of venerating or respecting them has also endured since time immemorial and will persist into the future. While the language and words of the prayer may evolve with time, the intention of worship and its underlying meaning remains unchanged. In this sense, it is eternal, or it is called Anadi Nidan mantra. So this was the 5th point. Now coming on to the number 6th point. The history of this Namokar mantra, how this got evolved. Okay. So this mantra originally was composed as the auspicious introductory verse, invocation of blessings, Mangla Charan, within the oldest Jain scripture, Sat Khandagam. It was authored by Acharya Puspadant and Acharya Bhut Bali, who were disciples of Acharya Dharsen. Okay. This significant task was accomplished 683 years after the liberation of Sri Mahavir Swami, the 24th and the last Tirthankar. Okay, so this is the history and how this came up. Then we move on to the next slides. Uniqueness. What is the uniqueness about this Namokar Mantra? The Namokar Mantra does not include salutation to any specific individual, okay, but to the divine qualities inherent in any soul occupying the position of a supreme being. Okay, it does not demand the fulfillment of any desire. That also we discussed in the beginning itself. Third one, reciting the Namokar Mantra brings a sense of peace. We have examples from Pratman Yoga, okay, how this Namokar Mantra, reciting this Namokar Mantra brings a sense of peace. The first example that we can remember is about Dharmendra and Padmavati, who were in the form of snakes, and Parshvanath Swami, the 23rd Tirthankar, he was a young kid at that time, and through his clairvoyance knowledge he was able to make out that the his nana, okay, grandfather, he was conducting one yagna or tap, okay, and by lighting the fire, and in that fire these two snakes were inside that, and this Parshvanath, young Parshvanath was a kid, and he realized through his knowledge, clairvoyance knowledge, and he stopped that fire. But by the time it got stopped, they were half burnt. So then Parshvanath Swami, what he did, he thought that they are not going to survive anyways, so he recited Namokar Mantra, and by listening to the Namokar Mantra, they left their body and they became celestial beings. Okay, and when Parshvanath was being uh, attacked by uh, Kamat, at that time they also thought of helping Parshvanath Swami, but Parshvanath Swami was well protected by himself. He did not need anybody's help because he was a Tirthankar. The second story is about Jivandar Kumar, Chhatra Chudamani, from Chhatra Chudamani. Uh, uh, he encountered a dog on the road and he was about to die. So Jivandar Kumar recited Namokar Mantra in his ears, and the dog also left the body and he also became a celestial being. The third story is about Seth Sudarshan. In his previous birth, he was a cow herd, okay, working for a businessman. Okay, so one day he was taking the cows to the jungle, and there he met one monk, and the monk thought that this person is going to get liberated very soon. So he recited the Namokar Mantra to him and told him to remember it and continuously recite as and when he gets time. So that cowherd, Gwala, very simple being. So he memorized that mantra and continuously used to repeat that mantra again and again. And then subsequently uh, he died and he became son of that particular master only for whom he was working. And in that birth, he became Sudarshan Seth and he got liberated in the same birth. So you can see that reciting the Namokar Mantra brings so many benefits. We will discuss about this benefit at the end of the presentation. Now the next slide. Importance of Namokar Mantra. What is the importance of Namokar Mantra? So there are other two lines. Eso pancha namo yaro savva pav panasuno manglanam cha savvesim padamam hoi mangalam. It means the Namokar Mantra holds the role of being the destroyer of all sins and stands as the foremost auspicious among all. So both this terminology, destroyer of all sins, need to be understood in the right perspective. We move on to the next page where it is explained what do you mean by destroyer of sins? Yeah, this one. So destroyer of sins signifies that reciting this mantra while focusing on the five supreme beings keeps the mind free from sinful thoughts, maintaining purity. This is the meaning of destroyers of sins. It does not mean that by reciting this Namokar mantra, we can eradicate all our sins. Okay. So then it would be nice. I will do all the sinful activity throughout the day, and in the evening I will recite Namokar mantra, and all my bondage of my sinful activities will be wiped out. No, that is not the case. Destroyer of sins means while reciting this mantra, you are focusing on the five supreme beings and your mind is free from sinful thoughts. Only present moment only, nothing else. And what it does mean foremost among auspicious, Mangal? What is the meaning of the word Mangal? So Mangal has two meanings. One is the destroyer of sins and the other is creator of true happiness. Okay. So dissolver of sins dissolves the sins caused by delusion, attachments and aversions. Okay. So the sins caused by delusion is moh, attachments is rag, and aversions is dvesh. And these three are the root causes of all pains and sufferings. Okay. So by reciting the Namokar mantra, okay, we can dissolve all our sins at the moment. Okay. So it dissolves the sins. The second part is it creates happiness. Okay. So reverence for the five supreme beings leads to liberation and generates genuine bliss within the soul. Okay. So this too is the meaning of the foremost among auspicious, Mangal. Okay. So it dissolves sins on one hand and it creates true happiness on the other hand. So you can see the benefit of this Namokar mantra. Now coming to the next slide, benefits of reciting Namokar mantra. So the first benefit, shields against sinful thoughts. Because as a holder of Mati Shrut Gyan, sensory knowledge and scriptural knowledge, we can concentrate or focus our active consciousness on one object at a time. So while reciting Namokar mantra, we are focusing on the mantra only, right? So at that moment, we are shielding ourselves against sinful thoughts. The thoughts doesn't come in our mind at that point of time. The second, it reduces anxiety, stress, and distress. Okay. So it is such an auspicious mantra that it reduces anxiety, stress, and distress. Our passions get smiled while reciting the Namokar mantra. Okay. So automatically it reduces stress and everything. The third part helps maintains composure during challenges. We all have life, we have all have ups and downs in our life, and there are every now and then challenges are coming in our life. So at that point of time, reciting Namokar mantra help us to maintain composure. Okay, we are not worried, we are not feeling stress or distressed. Okay. On the contrary, if we have prepared ourselves well, we see it as an opportunity to express what we have already learned and taken decision about. And all this helps us in calming the situation, enjoy the inner bliss at that moment. The fourth point is reciting Namokar Mantra. It encourages contemplation of the Supreme Being's path to divinity. Okay. So it encourages contemplation. What these Supreme Beings did, so they got this post. What would have been their activities? What would have been their thought? All this helps us in understanding what path they followed. Okay. What were the principles they adopted in their life to attain such things? The next point, it diminishes attachment to worldly desires. So desire is the chief cause of anxiety, and anxiety is a characteristic of sorrow. Okay. So diminishing attachment to worldly desires automatically leads to happiness. The next point, it guides towards self-realization and introspective meditation. Okay. So if we are saluting the five supreme beings. And why we are saluting? Because they guide us towards our self-realization. They tells us what the path they followed, and also uh, guides us to follow that path. Okay. So it helps us in attending self-realization and introspective meditation. The next point, ultimately helps achieve genuine and everlasting happiness through liberation. So once we are into the path of liberation, okay, the end result is our liberation. And when we are liberated, we experience everlasting happiness for eternity. Okay. The next slide, guidance for recitation. Priyanka, can you share the slide? We are not done with, few slides are still remaining. Okay. Guidance for recitation. So we started late. Uh, around 10 minutes we started late. So we'll complete on time, not after the time. Guidance for recitation. Who can recite, when to recite, and how to recite? Anyone can recite the Namokar Mantra. Recitation can be done anytime and in various circumstances. How to recite? Remembering the attributes and imagery of the Supreme Beings while reciting. What do you mean by imagery? Imagery means the language that produces pictures in the minds of the people reading or listening to the Namokar Mantra. Okay. So when we say this Namokar Mantra, actually we have to have picture in our mind to whom we are saluting. So the reflections. Soul who understand the depth of this Namokar Mantra and its true meaning reflect on. So this is our journey. Okay. Earlier, these supreme beings were mere mortals like me, traversing the cycle of birth and death. Okay. So they were just like us. From there, they rose by understanding the nature of the fundamental elements. They distinguished self from other substance and realized the true nature of their soul. Okay. So this is called science of discrimination, Bhed Gyan. They distinguish self from other substances and realize the true nature of their soul. The third, now this leads to attachment to worldly desires starts reducing. Okay. And they attain the position of an ascetic. Okay. So from a normal human being to understanding the elements, 7 fundamental elements. Please be on mute, everyone on mute.
Nice. Sorry. Ako, Maria. Passport kindness of
Sir, please make me co-host. Actually, I was
Yeah, I
left
made you
out from
host
there.
just now.
No, again, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the disturbance. आप फिर मेरे नेट में बोल रहे हो कुछ?
I'm not getting that option.
Okay.
I have made her the co-host.
Okay. So this is our journey. Okay. So attachment to worldly desires start reducing and they attain the position of an ascetic. Through intense effort in self-realization, they got rid of the obscuring karmas, thus attaining the position of arahant. Later, the non-obscuring karmas dissociated too, and the souls reach liberation in the Siddh state. If I also wish to attain happiness, I must follow the same process. Okay. So this is all we have for Namokar Mantra. We have still 5-7 minutes left, and I would like to relate the two words that we understood when we were discussing salutation. So salutation is a part of gratitude, and because of gratitude, your automatically the ethical behavior evolves. And now I want to share with you some of the examples, the persons who were very ethical in their life and what they achieved. First, we can see about Gautam Swami, uh, the chief preceptor of Mahavir Swami. He was a leader in some other faith and he had 500 disciples. And since he was supposed to be the Gandhar at that time, so the Indra went to him and asked him few questions. And he was not aware of the answers of those questions. And he thought that if he's asking such questions, let me meet his guru. So he said, I will answer this to your guru. And so he came to the Samosaran. And while he came to the Samosaran, his pride melted and he attained Samyak Darshan then and there and went on to become the chief preceptor. Now just imagine how ethical he would have been in his life, that in spite of being a leader, having 500 disciples, he was still ready to accept the truth. Now, who can accept the truth? The person who is ethical can accept the truth. And not only accepted the truth, he also converted himself to that, to that faith where the truth was there. Okay. Then we have an example of Acharya Samanbhadra. He was having a rare disease called Bhasmak Rog, where you feel so much of hungry that the whatever you eat, the hunger does not get satisfied. And being a monk, he was a monk. Being a monk, this could not be, because monks have food only once in a day, and that also 32 pulse, 32 only, right? So what he did, he went to the Acharya and he said that, give me samadhi. I am having this disease and I don't see surviving in this state. So the Acharya realized that he is going to play a great role in propagating the Jainism, because he was very sharp debater. Okay. So he said, you go, leave this monkhood, leave this post and become an ordinary being, get rid of this disease and come back again. And so he followed the acharyas, whatever he said. Okay. And then the disease got, got rid of that disease and he became normal, and he again came back to Acharya and took the oath of a monk, and then he spread Jainism throughout the Bharat Kshetra with his oratory skills and debating power. So listening to the acharyas, again, if you are ethical, you will be able to do that. Recently, we can see in Pujya Gurudev Sri's life, he was a sadhu in with Sthanakvasi Sampradaya. Okay. And he was at the top. But he was also very ethical, and he realized that I am not a monk as they are perceiving me to be. I am an ordinary Shavak. So how can I be a monk, pretend to be a monk? So he was very ethical. So he left that post, and people told him that you will not get food also if you leave this sampradaya. So he said, I have initiated into this diksha not for the sake of food. I want to do my own spiritual upliftment. So ethics plays a great role in any spiritual development. Okay. Last two lines. I would like to recite this two lines from Moksh Pahud. You know, today one snippet of Pujya Gurudev Sri's lecture on Ashtapahud has been released, where he is discussing the importance of Namokar Mantra. And in that also this was referred. It's in Hindi. I am reciting this in Hindi. अरहंत सीधाचार्य पाठक साधु है परमेष्ठिपण सब आत्मा की अवस्थाए आत्मा ही है शरण. So by following the Namokar mantra, by taking shelter in the Panch Parmeshti, means taking shelter in your own soul. Okay. And when you take shelter in your own soul, this five supreme beings post automatically evolves from inside. Okay. And you also become a sadhu, you also become Aryant, and then you become Siddha. Okay. So this is how, by reciting Namokar mantra, we can get into this path of liberation, and after traversing the path of liberation, we can get liberated. Okay. So with this note, I will end the session, my presentation here. I am free to take questions if you have any, and otherwise there are some announcement Priyanka ji will make. Over to you, Priyanka ji.
Sir, I think Priyanka ji has disconnected.
Okay. So there were some details you can share.
Yeah. So if we have to go through the resources in Namokar Mahamantra, you can just click on your resources, Namokar Mahamantra, and there will be presentations, articles, snippets from Pujya Gurudev Shri's lectures available. And on the LMS, if you have registered, this lecture will also be available. This is also available on our YouTube channel. And you need to follow us on our social media to get regular updates of the lectures. And we will join again with Rajesh sir on next Thursday at the same time. Right, sir?
Yeah.
Yes. Sir, we can do Jinwani Sukhi.
Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है. 9 times Namokar mantra.